Hi everyone, it's Erin from the Provincial Farmhouse. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing some French country Easter decor. It's just around the corner, so I thought I'd squeeze in another video. You can find a full product list in the description of this video and all your crafting needs on our website, theprovincialfarmhouse.com.au. For my first project, I'm using this wooden egg cutout that I got from Kmart Australia, and my first step is to remove that twine from the top, and I'm going to give it a coat of Dixie Belle's Buttercream Chalk Mineral Paint. Once my paint is dry, I'm going to be using the JRV Grain Sack Stripe stencil. I'm taping it down in place with some masking tape, and then I'm going to be using my JRV stencil brush with Dixie Belle's Vintage Duck Egg Chalk Mineral Paint. Now, I have the best success with these if I just press my brush down and gently run it along the stencil as opposed to dabbing or swirling. I find that this gives me the cleanest line. Next, I'm using IOD's Farm Animals stamp. I'm specifically using the lovely hen that comes in the pack with IOD's permanent black ink. I've taken it off the backing and now I am carefully pressing my ink pad down, and I'm just tidying up any areas where I got a bit of ink with a wet wipe. I'm then going to very carefully position the hen where I want it in the center and press down, and I've got one hand in place holding it while the other hand applies pressure. Always keep one hand on the stamp to avoid any smudging. Next, I'm using IOD's letterpress stamp. There's so many lovely fonts in this stamp, and I'm spelling out the word fresh, and underneath it we're going to have eggs. So I'm positioning the letters how I want them on the sign, and then once I'm happy with them, I'm going to use part of a clear mount plastic sheet to press down. My stamps have adhered. I'm flipping it over, and now I'm just making sure that the stamps are as straight as can be, and then once I'm happy with that, I'll use my IOD permanent black ink and I will carefully ink up the letters. Once I'm happy with my stamps, I'll carefully position them up the top and just making sure it's centered, and then I'll press down. Remember, always have one hand holding it in place, and I'm just very gently pressing down on the letters, and then when I think I've got a good impression, I will lift it up. I'm then going to clean off my stamps and remove any of the letters that I don't need, and we are going to position the letters E and G first. And once I have those down, I just need to work out the spacing, because obviously I need two of the letter G, so I've just moved the G across where I think it should go. I've added the letter S, I'm inking up the stamps, and then I will carefully position them underneath our first word and then press down. And again, I'm not going to apply too much pressure. I don't want any smearing, and obviously I have left that gap for the other letter G. So all that's left for me to do now is to ink up the letter G again and then position it where I want it to go up on the sign, and then the lettering is done. So there was one more design element that I wanted to add. I love these laurels from the Queen Bee stamp, so I've positioned them on my sign where I want them to go. And once I'm happy with the position, I'm grabbing my clear mount, positioning it over the stamps, and then I'm pressing down so that the stamps will come away on my sheet once I've pulled it away. Then I'm inking up my stamps with my ink pad, and again being careful not to get ink where I shouldn't. And once I'm happy with that, I will very carefully turn over my clear mount, position it where I want the stamps to go, and then I will press down. Once my ink's dry, I'll seal it with a spray sealer and reattach the twine. And here's our finished egg sign. I love how this sign turned out, and I definitely think this could stay out all year round. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. For our next project, I'm using this little bunny cutout. It came in the same pack as the egg from Kmart Australia. After removing the twine, I'm going to paint the entire bunny using Vintage Duck Egg by Dixie Belle. I'm just going to give it one coat. We're not going for perfection here. Once it's dry, I'm using the roses from IOD's La Campagne stamp, and I'm inking it up with my permanent black ink, and then tidying up any areas where I got ink where I shouldn't have. And then I'm going to carefully position it on the rabbit where I want it to go. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I just made sure that I had that beautiful rose clearly visible and then pressed down. And I am going to also do this again, but I'm going to use a different element up the top of the rabbit. So you could definitely use other stamps for this. I just thought the roses were really lovely and understated and would go beautifully on this rabbit. Finally, I'm going to make a simple little bow out of twine. I've doubled over the twine, then I'm tying a bow, and then I will use Gorilla Super Glue to attach it. This is a really easy project, but very effective. And of course, I'm going to attach the twine up the top in case someone wants to hang it. And here's our finished bunny decoration. This was such a sweet and easy decoration to make. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. Our next project is this basket. I've picked up a few of them and I've already done one project with them. This is a smaller version, so I'm just adding 2 coats now of Dixie Belle's Buttercream Chalk Mineral Paint. It is a lovely cream tone and it is definitely one of my go-tos. So I'm going to paint the entire basket inside and out. Next, I'm going to make a little design to attach to the basket out of some drop cloth. So I've trimmed off an area big enough for our rabbit here, which is also from the Farm Animal stamp. I've inked it up. I'm going to position it in the center and then carefully press down and apply pressure. Once I think I've got a good impression, I will pull it away, and then I've positioned it on the basket to see how much I have to trim off. So I'm going to trim around the outside of the rabbit, and then again I'm just checking to see how it's going to look, and I've decided to further fray the edges to give it more of that country look, that weathered look that we're going for. So I'm going to do that around each of the edges, and once I have done that, I'm going to attach our little label patch here with some Gorilla Super Glue. You could also probably decoupage this on or use hot glue, but I just went with whatever was easiest today. And once I have it in position, I'm going to carefully press it down. I wanted to bring some colour in, so I grabbed that Vintage Duck Egg again, and I am applying it just to the rim of the basket with a small artist brush. I probably should have done this before I added my little label patch there, but I didn't think of it until I already had it attached. I also decided to add just a little bit of text. I've grabbed the Antiquities stamp, I've inked up part of one of the designs, and then I've just pressed it in the center. I think it adds just that little bit of something special. Next, I am waxing my entire basket with Dixie Belle's Best Dang Waxing Clear, and then I'm coming in with just a little bit of brown wax over the top. I've got the freedom to wipe it back because we have the clear wax down. Again, I just want to give this a little bit of age. I also did that to our label. Now, the label did soak up more of the brown wax than I wanted, so I am coming in now with some white wax just to tone it down a little bit. Guys, this project was a little bit all over the place. I was making decisions a bit out of order, but sometimes you don't know until you actually get going on a project. So here I'm just using some medium grit sandpaper to sand back some of the blue a little bit again to add some age, and then I decided to paint the handles with the same Vintage Duck Egg. Chalk paint sticks to fabric just fine, and I thought it finished it off nicely. And here's our finished basket. I think this turned out very sweet. I love that rabbit stamp. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. For our next project, we're going to be using some foam eggs from Riot Art, and I'm painting each of them with Dixie Belle's Buttercream Chalk Mineral Paint. We're going to be decoupaging with some napkins, so I've put some water in a little container, and then I'm going to use a small artist brush with some water to outline one of the rabbit designs that I want to put on the egg. So this is a very easy craft. Again, you could do this perhaps even with your kids, and it's really effective. So I'm just carefully ripping out the design that I want, and then I'm going to be using Dixie Belle's Gloss Clear Coat. I'm applying a decent amount of it on the egg, then I'm very carefully dabbing and pressing down the napkin. You want to be very gentle with these to make sure that you don't rip them. When you are decoupaging with napkins, just make sure that you have pulled off the other layers of the napkin so that there's just one layer remaining. So now I've grabbed another napkin with some beautiful florals on it. I've applied some of that gloss clear coat, and then I'm very gently pressing my napkin up against the egg. Once I get to this point, I'm going to very carefully tear my napkin just so that I can reposition it and get off some of the excess. These can be a little bit tricky to deal with when you've got a lot of napkin to work with. So I'm just peeling off the excess, and then I'm going to smooth down some of the edges and apply a little bit more product, and then add the rest of the napkin to the other side. So the first three napkin designs that I'm using are from Tkmaxx, so you might be able to get them. And some of these I don't think are strictly Easter. So like this bee one, for example, I think could probably be used year round. So again, I'm just repeating the same steps, applying product to my egg, and then very gently smoothing down my napkin. And don't panic if you see wrinkles. Honestly, they are not very noticeable once your product is dry. Before I show you these finished products, there's one more thing we have to do. I picked up this cute little pan decoration at Christmas time. I am taking off the wire, and then I'm going to paint over the top of the design in the center with 2 coats of Dixie Belle's buttercream. I'm painting up another egg with that same buttercream as well, and this is a napkin that I got at one of the dollar stores here. I'm going to very carefully tear just one of the rabbits from that napkin, and again I'm applying some of Dixie Belle's Gloss Clear Coat in the center to adhere our napkin. I'm very carefully pressing it down, and then I'll use my brush to press the design down and reduce the chance of ripping. I'm then going to add some Spanish moss to our little pan there. So I'm just grabbing a small handful, and then I will position it in my little pan to see if I've got enough. And once I'm happy with it, I'm going to use my hot glue gun to adhere it down. Make sure you're careful with this part using hot glue. You could probably use super glue as well. Just be careful not to burn yourself. So once I've got it all stuck down, I'm going to add some more glue in the center so that we can glue our egg down. I then decided to add a bow to the top. I picked up this whole spool of this beautiful lace for $6 from the thrift store, so that was a great find. So I've cut off the length that I think I'll need, and then I'm going to be tying a double bow here to go on the top, and I'm going to be securing the bow in place with some Gorilla Super Glue. And here are our finished egg decorations. I just love how these turned out. I think that those napkins are so beautiful, and they go beautifully on those eggs. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video and that it's inspired you to create your own Easter decor this season. Let me know which of today's projects was your favorite. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button, comment, and share it to a friend that you think might enjoy it. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you a safe and happy Easter, and if you haven't already, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our videos. You can find all of the products used in today's video on our website, theprovincialfarmhouse.com.au. Thanks for watching.